Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial Thoughts. Back to Millennial Thoughts with your girl Alicia. I'm so glad y'all are loving this travel series that I'm doing and checking out the podcast. Today we have a young girl that I met on Instagram, our young lady. I guess we're like almost the same age. But her name is Gabby, and she's a millennial traveler, and she has a travel and lifestyle blog called packslight, and she also studied abroad in undergrad, and she studied abroad for free. So we're just here to talk about like studying abroad, traveling for free, and how she got into traveling and stuff like that. So I'll let her give y'all a little bit more about her. Hey, Gabby.
Hey, thanks for so much for having me on your podcast, Alicia. This is so exciting. I love any opportunity to connect with other millennials and size them up and inspire them to do some things. It's my jam.
Yes, mine too. I was like, amen. I'm trying to figure out. I think I seen you on. There's like so many travel blogs, so many Instagram things or whatever. But I think I just like followed you on Instagram at first. Can you tell us like what made you create packslight, like the brand or like the page and stuff like that?
Yeah. So actually, when I graduated high school in 2013, I was 17 years old, and I had, just finished my last SOLs and just finished like applying to colleges. And I just was so exhausted from my senior year, basically. And then I knew I was going to start college and do that for 4 years. I was like, damn, I need a break. I was like, go through another 4 years of school if I don't do something big. So that summer I graduated high school. I actually went on my first solo trip. I went to Iceland by myself for 2 weeks. And I met up with like this random group of people and did this like 40-mile backpacking trip. And I like didn't bring a sleeping bag because I was like 17 and like crappy. So I'd like squeeze in the same sleeping bag with this girl I didn't know. Like it was crazy, but that trip changed my entire life. And when I came back, I had so many people asking me like, how did you afford that trip? And what suitcase do you have? And like all these really simple questions that I took for granted because I've been traveling my whole life kind of with my parents and like in general. So I was like, people don't even know. So like they need to know. So people would ask me questions, and I would just write a blog post about it. Like they'd be like, what suitcase? And I'd be like, here you go. How do you travel? Here you go. And then it just kept going. 6 years later, here we are.
Yes. And so you just like the name like packslight, like so you just like chose it because it was like something different, unique, or
so that's kind of a cute story too. So the name itself has like two meanings. So the first meaning is literal, like I am carry-on only. I literally pack light. I don't know how I shoved 2 weeks worth of stuff into a backpack, but I did. Like when I went to Italy, it was 2 weeks in a backpack. I'm just packed light, and that's kind of symbolic of like material things can only get you so far. Like don't put too much stuff into material possessions. And then the second meaning is like packs light. So like I try to bring positivity and light with me wherever I go. So that's the name.
Oh, I like that one. I would have never thought that one. Like I like that second meaning. That is so true. Like material things, I'd be like, oh, hold on, I could save this for this. I don't need to be coming back. Something can happen. But you only do a carry-on when you travel?
That is it. A carry-on and like a purse. That's it.
Oh my goodness! Now you need to do a YouTube video about that one because I need to figure out how to do that. Because maybe I'll be over here struggling, like almost 50 pounds. Like, oh my gosh! Hopefully it doesn't go over. You try to be nice with the people, so they can be like, oh yes, you're okay, you're okay.
Exactly. The funny thing is they don't weigh carry-ons. So my carry-on's like 80 pounds, but it's small. So I'm like, okay, this is normal people. It's so heavy though, all the time.
Literally, there goes that. Yes, because who wants to keep paying for these bag fees and stuff like that? Not me.
Exactly. Fees, and they lose your bag. I'm like, oh, where's my suitcase? They're like, oh, didn't you send it to like China? I'm like, no, that's not.
Yeah, that's literally not where I was going. One time I got off the plane and it was just like my luggage was already there, which I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, how's my luggage here before me or something like that? And they're like bringing out luggage. I'm like, hold up now, what luggage was my plane on? Because I need to be on that plane, okay? But yeah, that's so funny. But yeah, so I studied abroad too in undergrad, and so many people were like, "Oh my gosh, how did you do it? What did you do?" and stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, honestly, like I've been traveling since I was younger too, so I'm like, I wanted to do it. I like applied, and I just kept going, and like that was something I wanted to do. So I just put my mind to it. And so when it comes to study abroad, for people who want to do it that are still you maybe like watching this or listening to it, what like tips or advice could you give them on like scholarships or like fundraisers or things like that when it comes to studying abroad?
I totally relate to that because I studied abroad kind of late in college. I was the second part of my junior year, so like I was kind
Girl,
of,
me too.
yeah, I was old. I was like, and I had already, because I like traveled during spring breaks and summer breaks and stuff. I was like, I'm not gonna study abroad, bro. Like I'm too old to like graduate late and all that stuff. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. But just like you, I kind of, it sounds so like hippy dippy weirdo, but like I was like, okay, if I'm meant to study abroad, show me a sign. Like if it's very convenient for me, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna like kill myself doing it. And then
Mm-hmm.
one day I was like, oh, let me just look up study abroad. And like my college was posting like what is it called, like tutoring or like help basically to apply for scholarships, and one was called the board, which is what I ultimately won, and it's basically it was $20,000 to study abroad. And I was like, well, that would be a good reason to study abroad, and I applied for it and I literally won. I was like, I was so shook when I got the acceptance because I it's so competitive, like the odds of winning were 1 in 1,000. I was like, I'm not even gonna win this, like, and I did. I was like, damn, I guess I'm studying abroad, like. So
Literally. So did you were you able to like split it up in so many trips, or did you just like go for a whole semester, or like what?
so the way that my
Um,
scholarship works is that they just deposit it in my account. They're like, we trust you. Here you go. Like, whatever, pay for your own food, pay for your own apartment, all that stuff. So luckily I'm
what?
budgety. So I was like, oh, let me do this version and let me do this. So I saved all the, basically I used not as, I try to save as much money as I could from the scholarship so I could use it for other things like trips and stuff. And that would be, yeah, but hey, I mean, why not? And that's my tip for other people is like, apply for scholarships. They're out there, and many people think like, oh, they're so competitive, I'm not going to win them. Girl, you will win them. Like, just apply, like, just do it. And then the other thing is, don't stop applying just because you win one. Like, I won 6 of them to study abroad. After that, I won 6. So just keep applying. I won one from the Bourne, and I won one from the school I studied abroad at. They had a scholarship for study abroad people. I was like, damn, I didn't even know they did this. Let me apply for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept racking them up, and that's how it all ended up. Total for a year in Dubai, a very expensive place, completely paid for.
Yes. Oh, you went there for a whole year.
A year, yep.
Location to go to, like, oh, amazing. So where else did you just go to Dubai? Did you go anywhere else to study abroad as well?
While I was there, I studied abroad there, but I took trips. So I went to Oman, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and the Netherlands while I was in Dubai.
Oh, okay. So it was like kind of all like right by each other, something like that, not that far away.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, because once you're out there, the flights are like $100 to go to Sri Lanka. I'm like, oh, you have to take advantage of that.
Yeah, really. That's like right. You do have to be like, oh, okay, well, I can get it for $30. Oh, I can do this. I can do that. I know it's so crazy. I'm like, let me just get to that part of the world, whatever, and I could just like fly everywhere, do whatever I need to do, and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So that is so cool. What has been your favorite place that you've traveled to?
That is such a hard question, and like it sounds so cheesy when people are like, I can't choose a favorite. I'm like, shut up, just choose a favorite. But really, there's reasons that different places are my favorite. So like my favorite place to live was definitely Dubai. My favorite place to eat, oh my, I ate my way through Italy through 3 weeks. Ate. Oh my god, amazing. And my favorite place to for the beaches was Australia. So like I got different reasons.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Australia is so far that I would not even think about going there. So when you went to Italy, did you go by yourself?
So that trip was 2.5 weeks, and then the first week I went with 4 friends. So this is just when I graduated college. Like this is I'm so like typical. You can literally predict anything I do. I graduated college. I was like, I need to go on a trip before I start my job. So I'm like, let me do 3 weeks in Italy. So the first week I went with 4 friends, and then they had to go back home because they had work. And I was like, I don't got work yet. So I stayed.
Right. So I'm just chilling,
Exactly.
right?
I stayed an extra week and a half, and I actually, it's so funny. And while I was in Italy, I ended up at this crazy workaway thing. Like it was crazy, and I was like, I need to get out of here. And this other girl was volunteering there too, and I'm like, oh, where are you from? And she's like, oh, I'm from Virginia. I went to VCU, which is the same college I went to. So this girl, I
What?
met this girl in this remote part of Italy, of Naples, and she went to my same college. I was like, this is a sign.
The same.
We're supposed to hang out. Like, let's go. It was crazy.
Literally, right? Like the world could be so small. Oh my goodness. And so
Exactly.
then like Iceland, like solo traveling like right after high school, like how was that? Like were you nervous to solo travel?
I went to high school in such a small town in Virginia. Like, it was like Confederate flaggy and stuff. And I just was like, you know what? What's the worst thing that could happen to me abroad? I mean, especially in Iceland. Like, I run out of money or like I get hit by a car or something. I'm like, anything that could happen to me bad in Iceland could happen to me bad in the US. And at least I won't die of boredom. No. So basically, I was like, I would rather die than stay here, basically.
That is true. I know. I feel like Iceland has been popping up. Like the last person I talked to, she did like Iceland. She said she's been a couple times, and then like I'm on YouTube, people were like Iceland, Iceland, Iceland. I'm like, okay, what's up with Iceland? I never really thought about Iceland. It's pretty and gorgeous, but I'm just like, oh, I never thought about it. Then I heard it was expensive. I said, okay, well, yeah, maybe not.
I
So I don't know.
know. It's so funny because actually, before the Iceland wave got big recently in the last few years, because Wow Air opened up a cheap flight from New York. So it was like $200 to go to Iceland. So everyone and their mother and their dog went.
Oh,
But I went in 2013 when it was normal expensive. And I literally only went because I think I saw it in a magazine and I was like, okay, I'll go there. Like, I just need to get out of here. It's so now that it got popular, I'm like, damn, I should have waited because I could have gone for like $200.
right for cheaper, right? So
Exactly.
how do you schedule like your trips? Like what's like? Oh, I want to go here. Like, is it events? Is it just like you want to see something? TV, magazines. Like, what makes you pick the place you want to go to?
I make a list in general about the places I want to visit. So like at all times I'll have a list of 10 places. I'm like, "Oh, I want to go there." And then I I sound like such a crackhead. I literally just wait for the opportunity. So I'll be like, "Oh, I have a week free." I'm like, "Does anyone live in any of these 10 places?" And then someone's like, "Oh, actually it's so funny. I just saw a cheap flight to China." And I'm like, "Guess I'm going there." So like the best way to travel for cheap and to have the best time is just to keep your options open and roll with the punches. Like,
Right, be flexible. Honestly,
exactly. I never know where I'm going. Actually, no one knows this, but Thursday, my plan is to drive to the closest airport and just buy the cheapest ticket out of the country and just go for the weekend out of the country somewhere. I have no idea.
just for a weekend.
Just for the weekend, Thursday to like Monday.
What? Okay, so here's my next question. Then, how do you balance it? Or like, how do you balance it with a 9 to 5? You said that you have a job. Does your job just like let you do whatever? Like, not do whatever, but like, are you just like, oh, I want to go here. Like, I'm going here, so I'm leaving.
No. I wish it was like that. They would fire me so quickly, which I understand. Um, Actually, my job is really restricting in that I only have 2 weeks of PTO each year. And I manage it because luckily my job is flexible in the hours. So if I work extra long days at the beginning of the week, I can work shorter days at the end. So like I kind of try to move my hours around where I can have maybe an extra Friday off or like a Monday off.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
so
what I'm
like
saying. Let me get every Friday off.
exactly. So like I have usually like every other Friday off the hours I work. But like this is using 2 of my 6 days of PTO, this little trip I'm doing. So like I have limited PTO. It's just like you just make it work. And like I haven't left the country since honestly January. So like it's been a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that one too. And this is crazy because I really didn't know. Well, I've been like in school, so um, I would tell like people take advantage of like doing study abroad. Going on trips during Christmas break, going on trips during summer break. Because
Yeah.
when you graduate, you don't have that opportunity. And so now when people are saying like you only have like 2 weeks PTO, because I never had no PTO time. Like you can just stretch it out somewhere somehow, and so that's cool. So then how do you balance like traveling, your blog, and working like mainly probably doing other projects and stuff like that? How
Yeah.
do you balance all that?
It is hard. Uh I would say the two biggest things is that I am a multitasker. Luckily, by nature, I can be watching TV and working on a blog to post and like talking to my friend on FaceTime at the same time. Luckily, I have that like capacity. But the biggest thing is just passion. Like I just want my blog to be successful so bad that I don't mind sacrificing for it. Like I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. Like I like I'm obsessed. Basically, I love it. So it doesn't feel like it's like when you can't put a good book down. Like you have a good book, you don't want to put it down. This is what my life feels like. So until I can go full time with my blog, I'm good balancing 8 plates.
Yeah. Okay. And so, well, that's good that you're good at multitasking. Because if I'm watching TV, I'm like into my TV or doing something or trying to figure out like how to go here, do this, do that. Like I could like multitasking is kind of like hard, you know.
Yeah.
So I just try to figure it out. But not having a 9 to 5 or something like that when you didn't have to work, it's like okay, I can try to work on this, try to work on that.
Yeah.
But 9 to 5 and then blogs and stuff like that, I'm like, woo, that's kind of hard. Let me see how my people do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So do you have any advice or any tips of for traveling, for packing line, or anything that you want to tell my listeners? I guess.
Yes. So it's so funny that I won scholarships in college and I was like, okay, well, luckily I won that big opportunity. Like now I'm going to die. Like, well, now that I'm out of college, there's no opportunities for us. Wah. But actually, um, there's actually a ton. And I want people to know that. And not a lot of people know that. So on my Instagram story, I have a highlight called Ops, which stands for opportunities. And on my blog, I literally have a post that I update every day called Young Opportunities. And it's basically scholarships for young people, so 16 to like 30, just in general. You don't have to be a student, you don't have to be employed, you don't have to be anything. People will pay you to travel for free even if you're not a student. Basically, I want everyone to know that. I will scream that for the rest of my life. So look into it, y'all. Like look on my blog, go find like there's internships, conferences, leadership programs,
Oh
cultural
yes,
immersion.
honestly, I've been on her blog and I have seen those things too. And I was telling this girl, I was like, "Oh, you wanted?" She was like, "Oh, I'm trying to study biomedical." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna send you packslight." Like I was gonna send her your blog post. I'm like, you can literally like go places, study abroad. You can go volunteer and stuff like that. And that's what I
Yeah.
think it is. I think people don't know like how tangible it could be, where it's at, and where to like find the opportunity. So you're like giving it to them on a platform.
On
So
platter, man.
yeah,
Exactly.
literally, like that is so cool and so great. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today,
Thank
and
you.
tell the people where they can follow you at on Instagram. On Are you on Twitter, Facebook,
Yes.
YouTube?
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. It's all at Packslight, PACKSLIGHT. That's everywhere. Google
Yeah,
it.
that right. I wish I would have branded my stuff from the beginning so that everything could be the same, but everything's like, oh, this is this, oh, this is that, this is that. I'm working on it though. I'm working on it
Yeah.
though. But yes, so y'all go check her out, Packslight. Go look at opportunities, tips, and make sure you travel and be flexible. So I just want to thank you again and hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you so
And
much.
yes.
Thank y'all.
All right, bye.
Bye.